Sorry I'm late. I had a lot of things to do today, and I just realized I gotta make my picks for this week. So we have a lot to talk about and very little time to talk about it. That being said, good evening, football fans. Big Al here on this Thursday, December 15th, 2022. And these are my Week 15 picks in the National Football League, both straight up and against the spread. We'll also take a look at the maps outlining these Sunday afternoon games, the announcers for each game, and at the end, we'll take a look at the current playoff picture in both the AFC and NFC and clinching scenarios for this week. So again, a lot to talk about and very little time to talk about it in. Oh, before we begin, I do want to mention one thing. On Tuesday's edition of the week that was, I told you my records, both straight up and against the spread after week 14. It turns out that I shorted myself a game. I had listed that the Ravens-Steelers game was a loss, and that was actually a win. So my actual record for the week, both straight up and against the spread, was 9-4. And my overall records are, let me pull these up for you real quick. I know I've been them down. I'm 133, 173, and 2 in my straight up picks. 103, 105 in my ATS picks. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, so all 32 teams are playing this week. 16 games in total. Thursday Night Football is starting in a little more than an hour from now. That's why I'm in a rush here. You got the 49ers and the Seahawks, and there is a clinching scenario for San Francisco. I'll tell you all about that later. You have a triple header on Saturday with all three games being aired on the NFL Network. The Indianapolis Colts will play the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium at 1 p.m. Eastern. Followed by the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns at 4:30. And then the nightcap is the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills, who also has a clinching scenario going into this one. That game is at 8:15 Eastern. Then you get the Sunday afternoon. You've got 10 Sunday afternoon games. 6 in the early window and 4 in the late window. CBS will be airing the Lions and Jets, the Chiefs and Texans, and the Steelers and Panthers, while Fox will be airing the Cowboys and Jaguars, Eagles and Bears, and the Falcons and Saints. In the late window, Fox will regionally carry the Patriots and Vikings, or rather the Patriots and the Raiders, and the Cardinals and Broncos. While in Game 2 of CBS's doubleheader, most will see the Bengals at the Buccaneers. Others will see the Titans and the Chargers. The Sunday night game this week is the New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. Remember, these two teams played in New York a couple weeks ago and played to a tie. And this game is pretty big as far as the NFC wildcard picture is concerned. And then on Monday Night Football, two teams that are pretty much out of the running in the NFC, the Los Angeles Rams visit the Green Bay Packers. And quick notes on those 6 national games. The Niners-Seahawks game, which is streaming on Prime Video, will be televised locally tonight on Fox-owned and operated stations KTVU in San Francisco and KCPQ in Seattle. The Colts-Vikings game on NFL Network will be locally televised on WXIN Fox 59 in Indianapolis and KSTP 5 Eyewitness News in Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Ravens-Browns game will be locally televised on WBAL 11 in Baltimore and on WEWS News 5 in Cleveland. And then the nightcap of NFL Network Saturday tripleheader, the Dolphins and the Bills, will be televised locally on CBS owned and operated station WFOR in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and on ABC affiliate WKBW in Buffalo. Then you got Sunday Night Football with the Giants and the Commanders. The main NBC stations for that game are WNBC in New York and WRC in Washington, both of which are NBC owned and operated stations. And Monday Night Football with the Rams and Packers will be simulcast on both ESPN and on ABC. That being said, let's jump into my picks. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, the 9-4 San Francisco 49ers at the 7-6 Seattle Seahawks. The Niners come in ranked number 2. In my latest power rankings, the Seahawks are at number 12. And there is a playoff clinching scenario for the visitors, as the 49ers can lock up the NFC West title with a victory tonight. This game's kicking off in a little more than an hour at 8:15 Eastern on Prime Video. Current point spread is San Francisco -3, and the over-under is at 43.5. I'm taking the Niners 28-17, and I'm covering the 3 points as well with them. And I got the game going over the spread. On now to the Saturday triple header, starting off with game 1. The 4-8-1 Indianapolis Colts at the 10-3 Minnesota Vikings, and they can clinch the NFC North title with a win or a Detroit loss to the Jets. And they can clinch no lower than 3rd in the conference by beating Indianapolis, plus losses by both Detroit and Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, by the way, are playing the Bengals. This game is Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the NFL Network. And the broadcasters for that and the announcers for that game will be Noah Eagle and Nate Burleson. And by the way, Thursday Night Football, as always, is called by Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. The current point spread in this game is Minnesota -4. Over-under is 48.5. I'm taking the Vikings 31-14. I have the game finishing just under the total, and I'm taking Minnesota minus the 4 points. In game 2 of the Saturday doubleheader, it's the 9-4 Baltimore Ravens at the 5-8 Cleveland Browns. This is Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on NFL Network, and the announcers for that game are Rich Eisen and Kurt Warner. The current point spread is Cleveland -2.5. Over-under is 37. But given the Ravens and their quarterback problems, they've still been able to win games, and I think that doesn't change this week. I have Baltimore winning a low-scoring game, 20-14. I've got the game going under the total, and I'm picking Baltimore plus 2.5. And then the final game of the Saturday tripleheader is an AFC East battle with the 8-5 Miami Dolphins on a 2-game losing streak, visiting the 10-3 Buffalo Bills, who can lock up the AFC East or not lock up the AFC East, but they can at least clinch a wild card spot with a win over Miami. That's Saturday night at 8:15 on NFL Network. And the announcers for that game will be Kevin Kugler and Mark Sanchez. Current point spread is Buffalo -7, over under 43.5. And I have the Bills going to the playoffs, beating the Dolphins 30-21. I got the game over 43.5, and I'm taking Buffalo -7. That brings us to Sunday afternoon, and our first game up on the ledger is the 5-8 Atlanta Falcons and the 4-9 New Orleans Saints. For as bad as that division has been this year, both teams are still in the running for the division crown. This is Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. And by the way, the maps for the Sunday afternoon games and the announcers for each game are both courtesy of 506sports.com. And the maps can change at a moment's notice. So check their website, www.506sports.com/NFL, and see if there are any changes to that map or those maps. On the 506sports.com map, looking under the Fox heading, this game is shaded in yellow. Main Fox stations are Fox owned and operated WAGA in Atlanta and Fox affiliate WVUE in New Orleans. And this is a pretty limited coverage area for this game. Larger markets outside Atlanta and New Orleans getting this game include Baton Rouge, Jackson, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Tallahassee. The announcers are Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth. Current point spread is New Orleans at -4, and the over-under is at 43.5. I have the Saints winning straight up 23-20, but I'm taking Atlanta plus the 4 points, and I got the game going just under 43.5. All right, the next game up is the 10-3 Dallas Cowboys at the 5-8 Jacksonville Jaguars, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. See if Dallas can bounce back from that near scare against the Texans last week. On the Fox map at 506sports.com, this game's listed in red. So this is the national game of interest on Fox. The main Fox stations for this game are Fox owned and operated KDFW Dallas Fort Worth and Fox affiliate WFOX Jacksonville. Major markets outside of Dallas Fort Worth and Jacksonville receiving this game include Seattle, Spokane, Boise, LA, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Albuquerque, El Paso, San Antonio, Austin, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock, Wichita, Omaha, St. Louis, Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville, Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, New York City, Richmond, Norfolk, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Raleigh-Durham, Orlando, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Fort Myers, West Palm Beach, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Shreveport. And the announcers for this game are Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. Current point spread is Dallas -4, over-unders 48.5. I have the Cowboys winning this game 31-23. The game finishing over 48.5 points, and I'm taking them boys -4. Up next, a big game in the playoff picture in both conferences. The 6-7 Detroit Lions, winners of 5 of 6, taking on the 7-6 New York Jets, who are in a little bit of a mini slump right now. Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Correction, this is Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. On the CBS early map on 506sports.com, this game is shaded in red. So this is the national game of interest in the early window on CBS. Main stations for this game are WWJ Channel 62 Detroit and WCBS Channel 2 in New York, both CBS owned and operated stations. Major markets outside Detroit and New York getting this game include Minneapolis, St. Paul, Green Bay, Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago, Grand Rapids, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, Boston, Providence, Hartford, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Fort Myers, West Palm Beach, and Miami, Fort Lauderdale. The announcers for this game are Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. Current point spread is a pick'em. Over-unders 44.5. I have the Lions winning because they're playing the best ball right now of the two teams. So I have Detroit 24-21 over the Jets. The game going just over 44.5. And I'm picking the Lions in the pick'em. All right. The next game up is the 10-3 Kansas City Chiefs, who has an opportunity to claim the AFC West Championship. More on that shortly. They're in Houston this week, facing off against the ice cold Houston Texans, who enter with a 1-11-1 record. And as for Kansas City, they can clinch the AFC West title with a win or a Charger loss to the Titans. But there's more also for Kansas City. They can clinch at least third in the conference with a win plus a Titans loss in that same game against the Chargers. So Chiefs and Texans is Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. On the CBS early map on 506sports.com, you can find this game shaded in blue. Main CBS stations are KCTV Channel 5 in Kansas City and KHOU Channel 11 in Houston. Major markets outside Houston and KC getting this game include every CBS station in the Pacific and Mountain time zones. That includes me in Phoenix, as well as San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Shreveport, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, Omaha, Des Moines, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville. And the announcers for this game will be Kevin Harlan and Trent Green. Current point spread is Kansas City minus 14, over-unders 49.5. I do have the Chiefs winning straight up 31-20, and the game finishing over 49.5 points. However, I don't trust Kansas City in covering these big point spreads. See what happened last week against Denver? That being said, I'm taking Houston plus 14. Next up, you've got the 12-1 and playoff-bound Philadelphia Eagles visiting the 3-10 Chicago Bears, already playing for next season. Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. On the Fox map on 506sports.com, this game is shaded in blue. The main Fox stations are WTXF Channel 29 in Philadelphia and WFLD Channel 32 in Chicago, both Fox-owned and operated stations. Major markets outside Chicago and Philly getting this game include Minneapolis, St. Paul, Des Moines, Green Bay, Madison, Milwaukee, Grand Rapids, Indianapolis, and Washington, D.C. The announcers for this game are Joe Davis and Daryl Johnston. Current point spreads, Philadelphia minus 9, over-unders 48.5. I'm picking the Eagles to win this one 34-14. Plus, I have the game going under the total. And I'm taking Philadelphia minus 9 against the spread. The final early afternoon game on the schedule pits a couple of 5-8 teams fighting for their playoff lives. It's the 5-8 Pittsburgh Steelers visit the 5-8 Carolina Panthers. Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. On the CBS early map on 506sports.com, this game is shaded in green. Main CBS stations are owned and operated KDKA Channel 2 in Pittsburgh and CBS affiliate WBTV Channel 3 in Charlotte. Major markets outside Charlotte and Pittsburgh getting this game include Baton Rouge, Atlanta, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Raleigh-Durham, Norfolk, Richmond, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati, Louisville, and Lexington. The announcers are Greg Gumbel and Adam Archuleta. Current point spread is Carolina minus 3, and the over-under is set at 37.5. I have the Panthers winning this game 27-20. I expect the Steelers to at least put up some points in this game. Thus, I have the game going over 37.5, and I'm taking Carolina minus the 3. Oh, and by the way, if the Steelers do lose this game, It will be Pittsburgh's first losing season since 2003. Wanted to get that in there. Now to the later portion of the schedule, starting off with the two regional games on Fox. The first are the 4-9 Arizona Cardinals, who are on the verge of being eliminated from contention, visiting the 3-10 Denver Broncos, who are officially eliminated from contention. Sunday at 4:05 Eastern on Fox. And of course, you heard about the news of Kyler Murray with that tore ACL. His status for next season, at least the start of it, is up in the air. On the Fox map on 506sports.com, this game is shaded in orange. And it's not a big coverage area, as this game is confined to many portions of the mountain western United States. So the only larger markets getting this game are Tucson and Colorado Springs. The main Fox stations are KSAZ Channel 10, which is the Fox owned and operated station here in Phoenix, and Fox affiliate KDVR Channel 31 in Denver. The announcers for this game are Chris Myers and Robert Smith. Current point spreads is Denver minus 2.5, and the over-under is 36. So according to Vegas, they're probably expecting Russell Wilson to start and not Mark Griffin, but we shall see Sunday. One way or the other, I'm taking the Broncos 23-20, and this is based off prior history in this series. The Cardinals, historically, they struggle in Denver. So again, I have the Broncos winning 23-20. I got the game going over 36, and I'm taking Denver minus 2.5. 2.5. The other game of regional interest on Fox in the late window is the 7-6 New England Patriots, who, if the playoffs were to begin right now, they would be in. They're visiting Sin City this week to face the 5-8 Las Vegas Raiders, fresh off of that heartbreaking loss to the Rams last Thursday night. Sunday at 4:05 Eastern on Fox. On the Fox map at 506sports.com, this game is shaded in green. Main Fox stations for this game are WFXT Channel 25 in Boston and KVVU Channel 5 in Las Vegas. Major markets outside of Boston and Vegas getting this game include Portland, San Francisco, Sacramento, Reno, Fresno, Bakersfield, Houston, Kansas City, Detroit, Charlotte, Pittsburgh, Providence, and Hartford. And the announcers for this game are Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma. Current point spread is New England -1, which is the same point spread against the Cardinals last Monday night. Over under is set at 44.5. I have the Patriots winning this game 28-24, pushing the total over 44.5. And I'm taking New England and that minuscule 1-point spread. Can't talk. All right, that brings us to game 2 of CBS's doubleheader. The national game of interest will be the 9-4 Cincinnati Bengals at the 6-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this is the first and perhaps only matchup of Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. Sunday at 4:25 Eastern on CBS. And since this is the national game of interest in the late window, on the CBS late map on 506sports.com, this game is shaded in red. All right, the main CBS stations for this game are WKRC Channel 12 in Cincinnati and WTSP Channel 10 in Tampa, St. Petersburg. Major markets receiving this game, and buckle up, there's a bunch of them, include Seattle, Spokane, Boise, San Francisco, Sacramento, Fresno, Reno, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson, Salt Lake City, Albuquerque, Denver, Colorado Springs, El Paso, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Jackson, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, Kansas City, St. Louis, Omaha, Des Moines, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Green Bay, Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago, Grand Rapids, Detroit, Indianapolis, Louisville, Lexington, Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, Boston, Providence, Hartford, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Richmond, Norfolk, Raleigh-Durham, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Charlotte, Atlanta, Birmingham, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Orlando, Fort Myers, West Palm Beach, and Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And of course, the best game has to have the best broadcast team. Jim Nance and Tony Romo are the announcers for this one. Current point spread is Cincinnati minus 3.5, over-unders 44. I have the Bengals winning 27-21, the game going over 44 points. And I'm taking Cincy minus 3.5. The final Sunday afternoon game on the schedule is the 7-6 Tennessee Titans on a 3-game losing streak, visiting the 7-6 Los Angeles Chargers. Huge game in the AFC playoff race. Sunday at 4:25 Eastern on CBS. On the CBS late map at 506sports.com, this game is shaded in blue. Main CBS stations are CBS affiliate WTVF News Channel 5 in Nashville and KCBS Channel 2 in Los Angeles, which is an owned and operated station. And this game is pretty much being confined to Tennessee and Southern California, as other major markets get in this game include Bakersfield, San Diego, Memphis, and Knoxville. The announcers for this game are Andrew Catalan and James Lofton. Current point spread is LA minus 3, over under 47.5. And I'm taking the Chargers to win this game 24-19. It's going to be tighter than what many people expect. I have the game going under 47.5, and I'm taking Los Angeles minus the 3 points. That brings us to Sunday Night Football and a rematch of the 20-20 tie in New York in Week 12. Is the New York Football Giants at the Washington Commies, a.k.a. Commanders. Both teams sitting at 7-5-1, and if the season ended right now, both would be in the playoffs. Sunday at 8:20 Eastern on NBC. The announcers for this game, as always, are Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. Current point spread is Washington minus 4.5, and the over-under is 40.5. And unlike the first meeting, this game is not going to end in a tie. I have Washington winning 24-20, so I'm picking them straight up. Got the game actually going over 40.5. I wrote down under on my notes, but the game I have it going over. But I'm picking the New York Giants plus 4.5. And then the final game of the week is Monday Night Football. It may be a sleeper. It may be a snoozer of a game this week. It's the 4-9 Los Angeles Rams, who ended that 6-game losing streak with that dramatic come-from-behind win in Vegas against Vegas last week. They're headed up to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field to face the 5-8 Green Bay Packers, clinging to their playoff hopes. Monday night at 8:15 on ESPN and simulcasting on ABC. The announcers are Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. The current point spread is Green Bay minus 7, and the over-under is 39.5. I have the Packers winning this game 27-13. It looks like their offense is starting to pick things up again. I have the game finishing just over 39.5. And I'm taking Green Bay minus the 7 points. And if you missed my power rankings Tuesday, here they are again as we go into week 15. Number 32 is the Houston Texans. 31 is the Bears. Then you have the Rams at 30, Broncos 29, Saints 28, Cardinals 27, Browns 26, Colts 25, Panthers 24, Packers 23, Jaguars 22, Falcons 21, Raiders 20, Buccaneers 19, Steelers 18, Jets 17, Titans 16, Giants 15, Chargers 14, Lions 13, Seahawks 12, Patriots 11, Dolphins 10, Commanders 9, Ravens 8, Vikings 7, Cowboys 6, Bengals 5, Bills 4, Chiefs 3, 49ers 2, and the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. All right, so before we get into the updated playoff races, let's look at these clinching scenarios for week 15. And we'll start in the AFC with the Buffalo Bills. They can clinch a playoff spot with a win over the Dolphins. So they're in the classic winning you're in situation. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, they can clinch the AFC West with a win in Houston or a Chargers loss to the Titans. And they can clinch at least third in the conference with a win plus a Titans loss to the Chargers. And that brings us to the NFC, where there are many more scenarios than the AFC. The Eagles, we know, are already in. They clinched last week. The Vikings can clinch the NFC North with a win over the Colts or a Lions loss to the Jets. And they can clinch no lower than third in the conference with a win plus losses by both Detroit and Tampa Bay. The 49ers can claim the NFC West with a win tonight in Seattle. They can clinch no worse than third with a win plus losses by plus a loss by Detroit or a Tampa Bay loss, and can claim no lower than number 4 in the conference with a win plus a Minnesota win. That means the Vikings beat the Colts. And finally, the Dallas Cowboys can lock up a playoff spot with a win in Jacksonville, plus either losses by Washington and Seattle, or losses by Detroit and Seattle. And Dallas can claim at least 6th in the conference with a win and a Seattle loss. So those are your clinching scenarios for this week. Now it's time to update the playoff races in both conferences. And we'll start off in the AFC. Now I have the ESP. Now I'm on ESPN.com on my Chromebook, but you can still see me if you're watching this. You just cannot see the ESPN website. And it's going to take a second for this to load up. Give me just a second. Okay, let's try this. Here we go. All right, so here are races in the National Football League as we enter week number 15, and we'll start off in the AFC. Your 4 division leaders would be the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, and Titans. All right, Buffalo is 10-3, 2-2 in the AFC East, 7-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule is 533. Strength of victory is 500. Kansas City is also 10-3, 4-0 in the AFC West, 6-3 conference, 476 strength of schedule, 438 strength of victory. Buffalo wins the tiebreaker over Kansas City based on head-to-head win percentage. Baltimore is sitting in the number 3 spot with a 9-4 record, 3-0 in the division, 6-3 in the conference, 482 strength of schedule, 436 strength of victory. In the 4th spot, the slumping Tennessee Titans at 7-6, 3-1 within their division, 5-4 in the conference, 500 strength of schedule, 341 strength of victory. Number 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals at 9-4, 2-3 in the division, 2-3 in the division, 6-3 in the conference, 503 strength of schedule, and 479 strength of victory. Baltimore holds the divisional tiebreaker over Cincinnati based on head-to-head win percentage. Sitting in the 6th spot, the Miami Dolphins at 8-5, 2-1 in the division, 6-3 in the conference, 524 strength of schedule, 447 strength of victory. And then you have a 3-way battle for that 7th and final playoff spot in the AFC. The team sitting at number 7 based on tiebreakers are the New England Patriots with a 7-6 record, 2-2 in the division, 5-3 in the conference, 494 strength of schedule, 423 strength of victory. Just below them in the 8th spot, the Los Angeles Chargers, also at 7-6, 2-3 in the division, 5-4 in the conference, 459 strength of schedule, 346 strength of victory. Number 9 would be the New York Jets, 7-6, 2-3 in the division, 5-5 in the conference, 538 strength of schedule, 429 strength of victory. New England wins the tiebreaker over Los Angeles based on best win percentage in conference games. The division tiebreaker was initially used to eliminate the New York Jets, whom New England owns the tiebreaker based on head-to-head win percentage. New England beat New York twice this year. The Chargers, meanwhile, they own the tiebreaker over New York based on best win percentage in conference games. So that's why they're ahead of the Jets. You have 4 teams sitting with 5 wins apiece: the Jaguars, Raiders, Browns, and Steelers. The Jaguars, based on tiebreakers, would sit at number 10 with their 5-8 record. 2-2 in the division, 5-4 in the conference. Strength of schedule is 500. Strength of victory is also 500. Number 11 is the Las Vegas Raiders at 5-8. 3-2 within the division, 4-5 in the conference. 396 strength of schedule, 331 strength of victory. Number 12 would be the Cleveland Browns at 5-8. 2-2 in the division, 3-7 in the conference. 524 strength of schedule, 408 strength of victory. Number 13, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 5-8, 1-3 in the division, 2-7 in the conference. 565 strength of schedule, 438 strength of victory. As for the tiebreakers, Jacksonville owns the tie over both Cleveland and Las Vegas based on best win percentage in conference games. Vegas wins the tiebreaker over Cleveland for the same reason: best win percentage in conference games. And in both teams' cases, the division tiebreaker was initially used to eliminate Pittsburgh. Cleveland owns the tiebreaker over Pittsburgh based on head-to-head win percentage. And towards the bottom of the conference, in 14th, is the Indianapolis Colts at 4-8-1, 1-3-1 in the division, 4-5-1 in the conference. 503 strength of schedule, 442 strength of victory. And eliminated from the playoffs in 15th place, the Denver Broncos, 3-10, 0-4 in their division, just 2-8 in the conference, 485 strength of victory, 397 strength, or 485 strength of schedule. Their strength of victory is 397. Also eliminated from contention, the Houston Texans, 1-11-1 and 8 losses in a row. 1-1-1 in the division, 1-6-1 in the conference. 500 strength of schedule, 385 strength of victory. All right, on to the NFC off picture, where you got the Eagles, Vikings, Niners, and Buccaneers as your division leaders going into Week 15. Number one, of course, is the Philadelphia Eagles, who have already clinched the playoff berth. They're 12-1, 3-1 in the division, 7-1 in their conference. 476 strength of schedule, 468 strength of victory. Number two is the Minnesota Vikings. 10-3, 3-1 division, 6-3 conference. 530 strength of schedule, 473 strength of victory. Number three is the San Francisco 49ers at 9-4. 4-0 within the division, 7-2 in the conference, 414 strength of schedule, 419 strength of victory. Number four is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-7, 3-1 division, 6-3 conference, 485 strength of schedule, 436 strength of victory. The remaining teams in the NFC East would hold the 3 wild card spots in the conference. Number 5 is the Dallas Cowboys at 10-3, 3-1 division, 7-3 conference, 494 strength of schedule, 465 strength of victory. Sitting in the 6th spot is the Washington Commanders, 7-5-1, 1-2-1 within the division, 4-4-1 within the conference. 524 strength of schedule, 396 strength of victory. And in the 7th spot, the New York Giants, 7-5-1, 577 win percentage. I don't know why I said that, but there you go. 0-3-1 in the division, 3-5-1 in the conference, 521 strength of schedule, 390 strength of victory. Washington wins the tiebreaker over New York based on best win percentage in division games. And just on the outside of the playoffs, at number 8, you have the Seattle Seahawks at 7-6. 3-1 in the division, 5-5 in the conference, 411 strength of schedule, 390 strength of victory. Number 9 is the Detroit Lions, 6-7, 3-1 within the division, 5-4 in the conference, 604 strength of schedule, 487 strength of victory. Number 10, you have 3 teams. Sitting at number 10 based on the ties are the Green Bay Packers at 5-8. 2-2 division, 4-5 conference, 568 strength of schedule, 446 strength of victory. Sitting at number 11, the Carolina Panthers, 5-8, 3-1 division, 4-5 conference, 459 strength of schedule, 385 strength of victory. And number 12 is the Atlanta Falcons, also 5-8, 1-3 division, 4-5 conference, 453 strength of schedule, 446 strength of victory. Green Bay wins the tiebreaker over Carolina based on strength of victory. The divisional tiebreaker was initially used to eliminate Atlanta. The Carolina Panthers hold that tiebreaker over the Falcons based on best win percentage in division games. Then further down the conference you go. At number 13 is the Arizona Cardinals, 4-9, 1-4 within the division, 3-6 in conference play, 538 strength of schedule, 346 strength of victory. Then it's the New Orleans Saints at number 14 with a 4-9 record, 1-3 division, 3-6 conference, 497 strength of schedule, 404 strength of victory. And at 15, the Los Angeles Rams, 4-9 record, 1-4 division, 3-7 conference, 521 strength of schedule, 365 strength of victory. Arizona wins the tiebreaker over New Orleans based on head-to-head win percentage. And the divisional tiebreaker was initially used to eliminate LA. Cardinals owned the tiebreaker over the Rams based on best win percentage in common games. Meanwhile, New Orleans would win the tiebreaker over Los Angeles based on head-to-head win percentage. So like the Cardinals, the Saints also have beaten the Rams. And sitting at number 16 and officially out of the playoffs, the Chicago Bears. 3-10, 0-4 in the division, 1-8 in the conference, 524 strength of schedule, 449 strength of victory, and that is it, folks. I am all set for week 15, but most importantly, you are all set for week 15. So let me know in the comments section who y'all got winning this week, especially tonight's game with the 49ers and the Seahawks, which is now about 30 minutes away from kickoff. So I better jump off here and get ready to watch that. So again, Niners and the Seahawks coming up on Prime Video at 8:15 Eastern Time, a little less than 30 minutes from now. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the pigskin tonight and this weekend. Peace out.